Hi, it's Wendy. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet a better granny square. One of the things that has always bothered me about granny squares is I can see where the round starts and ends. And I would prefer that it would be invisible and I couldn't tell. So in this case, I put the chain 3 for my starting chain at the end of a group of 3 right before the corner. And you can see how it's kind of tucked in underneath these two, follows up to the corner. This one's a little bit better. The chain 3 is at the beginning of the group of 3 and then I slip stitch over to the corner. But it's still got this funny little loop here and the chain that you can see. And I set myself a personal challenge to make that joining point invisible. So here's my granny square. And I challenge you to pause the video for a second and see if you can figure out where this one starts and ends in the rounds. Let me show you how I made that joining point invisible. This granny square starts just like any granny square with a loop at the beginning. In this case, I'm going to chain 5 and slip stitch together to make my ring. So just like any granny square. Now, instead of chaining 3, I'm going to single crochet into the ring and chain 1. Then double crochet. Chain 3 or 2, whatever you like to do for the corner, doesn't really matter. Then 3 double crochets. And then I'll repeat that. Chain 3, 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. And I'll come back when I'm ready to join to my starting stitch. All right, there's my round 1 almost finished. I need 1 more double crochet to make this starting group into a group of 3. So I'm going to add a double crochet right there. Now, I'm going to look for the top of the 3rd stitch in the group. So this first double crochet, because remember I did the first one as a single and a chain and then this double crochet. So in this loop right here, which is the loop at the top of this last double crochet, I'm going to slip stitch under that one. And what happens then is it creates a top for this middle stitch, which was my starting stitch to step up to the next round. Next, slip stitch into the chain. So in the first stitch of the chain, and this can be a little bit awkward, especially in the first round, but just slip stitch into that first stitch of the chain, then single crochet, chain 1. That's going to form the middle stitch of the first group in the corner. Double crochet, chain 3 for the corner, 3 double crochets for the second group in the corner. I like to do 1 chain between groups, but if you like to leave it just one group beside the other without a space in between, that's fine too. 3 chains in the corner, another group of 3, and so on around, just like a regular granny square. Second round, almost finished. I need to put 1 more double crochet for this group. And again, skip over this stitch right here, the middle one, which was my starting stitch, and slip stitch in the top of the last stitch in that group. Pull that through and you can see how it makes an invisible join. Slip stitch into the chain in the corner, and the reason I do that is because otherwise the single crochet gets really awkward. Then single crochet, chain one to start the next round. Double crochet, chain three, group of three, and continue around as a regular granny square round. You might be wondering why not just do a stacked single crochet as a starting stitch, and I've tried that, but I think it looks too bulky, whereas this blends in a lot better. Okay, so I did a total of 4 rounds here. After the last stitch, what you're going to do is just cut the yarn and pull it through like that. Then, taking a yarn needle, put it under that same stitch where you would typically slip stitch, right? So this last double crochet in the group, put the yarn under there, then back into the same spot where it's coming out of this stitch that you just finished. Make it match the size of the other stitches, and just like that, you've got an invisible join to your granny square. I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial and that you'll give this little strategy a try. Thanks for joining me and have a super day.